Gang. Welcome aboard if you're brand new. Welcome back if you're not, and welcome home if that sits perfectly for you. We want to talk today about what's going on in energy and astrology for the week of the 23rd through the 29th of June, 2025. Um, as always, let's get right in. This is a week. We start out with a Gemini moon, and the first aspect of the week is a major aspect. It is Mars in Virgo, quincunxing retrograding Pluto in Aquarius at the stroke of midnight Central Time. And then that Gemini moon is going to get busy and sextile both Saturn and Neptune and trine Pluto and square Mars. So here's the deal. We are still trying to find the balance in that Jupiter Sun squaring Saturn Neptune aspect, right? Mars quincunx Pluto is going to lead us kind of ever deeper into our own energy. So ask yourself things like, what are you doing when it comes to your own sovereignty? That'll be interesting to come back to, won't it? Are you actively exploring your current belief system? And if you're not creating your own foundations and rules, if you're not in active healing, you are going to end up confronting those unhealed, unexplored places, and they might not be very comfortable. So get into your own depths and remember that those depths are infinitely deep, and it is not the time to be scared of those things, right? It's the time to dive as deeply as possible. On Tuesday, it is an aspect heavy day. So Jupiter in Cancer is going to quincunx Pluto, retrograding Pluto in Aquarius. Mercury in Cancer is going to square Chiron in Aries. The Sun in Cancer is going to quincunx Pluto. The Sun in Cancer is going to conjunct Jupiter exactly, right? So we've been feeling the lead up. We're now at apogee on Tuesday. And that Gemini moon is going to sextile Chiron. And then in the evening, before bedtime, the moon moves into Cancer. So here's the deal. Mind the static that is in those depths that you are being compelled to explore, right? And mind how that gets amplified on Tuesday as the Sun and Jupiter both get activated by Pluto, right? That balance between your old patterns and your new story, right? So we have old patterns, we have new story. That balance has to be maintained. The who of who you are absolutely must be your North Star. Absolutely must be. The old wounds and the old patterns are already part of your history, right? They're already part of your history. Make new rules the only rules, right? You are telling this new story. So make sure that you're starring in it too, right? And remember, the only thing that you have that exists of 3D is your memory of it. So if you don't want that memory to become part of your present, just leave it in the past. I know. It sounds easy, right? On Wednesday, the Cancer moon squares Saturn and Neptune, quincunxes Pluto, conjuncts Jupiter, and then conjuncts the Sun at 5:32 a.m. By the way, that's a very busy morning. And then the moon sextiles Mars. Remember, please, that conjunction of the moon and the Sun at 5:32 p.m. Central or a.m. Central Time is our new moon. This is a Cancer new moon at 4 degrees Cancer. So the new moon aligns with Jupiter, right? And it squares Saturn and Neptune. And it's very, very buoyed by Mars in Virgo. So you might not feel as though you have all the information you need or the information that you want, right? To create look at me, right intentions. I'm air quoting that, the right intentions, whatever is right for you. And here's the thing, you have strong impulses, very strong impulses to be in action. Here's the thing, dig deeply. As deeply as you're able. Remember, we have all of these Pluto activations. Go deep. Do not be afraid to go deep, right? And do not move without clarity. Now, here's what I'd like you to understand. If you don't have clarity, you can always default to the intention, whatever is necessary for my own highest and best. Okay? This is, I don't want to call it a safe intention because let's be real, a lot of people use this as an intention and then say, holy crap, what did I just pull into my life? But the fact of the matter is, it might be shocking, but it's never a bad intention. Again, if you don't have clarity, you do not have a foundation to move. Don't set an intention that is specific if you don't have clarity on your specifics, right? So even if you have to use a general intention, like whatever's necessary for my highest and best, go right ahead. And you might even add, and for the highest and best of all, if you really want to. You'll have the opportunity, by the way, to reroute that. So just let that be okay, right? Here's the deal too. If you have planets or placements at 4 degrees of the cardinal signs, that is Aries and Libra, and Cancer and Capricorn, please pay close attention to this new moon. It will be significant for you. On Thursday, Mercury in Cancer sextiles Uranus. The Sun in Cancer sextiles Mars. The Moon, in Cancer, sextiles Venus. And then in the afternoon, Mercury moves into Leo, and then that Cancer moon squares Chiron. On Thursday, here's what I want you to know. Shocking disclosures, unexpected enlightenments, right? Are what the energy is all about on Thursday. You are absolutely in motion, and there is no doubt as to your trajectory. Please make sure that home, and we're talking about home in that Venus sense. So this is what home looks like, smells like, tastes like, sounds like, feels like for you. Make sure that there is no doubt about your status of what home is and allow that to be your guidance, right? Yeah. And the fact of the matter is that it's a go day, right? It might be a good idea to activate your brain to mouth filters, maybe even a few more than you usually activate, but have those in place because you might end up giving too much away, or let me put it this way, you might give out some outdated information. So again, if you do not have clarity, oh, look at me. I'm acting like we're done. What the heck? If you don't have clarity, just keep it to yourself. Okay? Fair, 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 right? Mercury in Leo. This is you communication. So the deal is, if it's not you communication, on Friday, the 27th, that Cancer moon is going to sextile Uranus. The moon moves into Leo, and that Leo moon is going to conjunct Mercury, trine Saturn and Neptune oppose Pluto, and then that Mercury in Leo trines Saturn at the end of the evening. Now, here's the deal. Friday. Friday is a day with potential, right? For inspiration, for invocation. That moon is going to catch up with your tongue, and speaking your heart is going to feel absolutely effortless. The key is to please be very deliberate now in all the ways that that new moon might have felt obstructed. So Wednesday's unclarity. Oh, nice. Look at that. Fascinating. The unclarity of that new moon kind of, it gets a little Ganesha kiss today, and the obstructions clear. So here's the deal. Put the specifics out on Friday if you feel prepared, right? And here's the best part. You will absolutely have the juice to back up those intentions, those creations, those newly forming habits, right? This is about devotion and dedication in spades to back them. So whatever it is that you feel like doing or that you want to create or express, please make it so on Friday. On Saturday, Mercury in Leo trines Neptune, and the Leo moon squares Venus. Here's the deal. This is a big opportunity for some very passionate and impassioned expression. However, there's also as equally large an opportunity for a very impassioned speech that is absolutely full of programming and neurolinguistic nonsense, and absolutely devoid of any kind of real truth. So if you are creating, do not stray from your heart. And if you are listening, do not take anything without a grain of salt, perhaps even the whole shaker on Saturday, right? And then on Sunday, the 29th, that Leo moon trines Chiron. Mercury in Leo opposes Pluto. Okay. The Leo moon squares Uranus, and then at 6:44 a.m. Central Time, the moon moves into Virgo. The Virgo moon then quincunxes Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto, sextiles Jupiter, conjuncts Mars, and sextiles the Sun. Mercury opposing Pluto leaves absolutely tons of room for manipulative communications, for obsessive communications, for borderline shadow filled communications. Okay, this is one of those days where if you are a persuasive person, you must use your powers for good. Whether you're speaking or listening, right? Personal stakes are very elevated, and they might make a tendency to have shock value when it comes to language or expression. Uh, that might just be part of the, watch me, tactic of the message, right? This is Pluto opposed to Mercury. So all of those force and manipulation and agenda things that Pluto has as possible are embedded in messaging. Here's the thing. The opposite is also true, right? If you craft a heart based message, it can set you free. It can transform your experience and your life, right? As the moon moves into Virgo in the late morning, you absolutely will have the capability to see through any kind of nonsense, whether your own or someone else's. So you absolutely will not run the risk of buying any hype, whether it's yours or anyone else's. So just be mindful, because such a big deal. All right, let's get in here. On Monday, we have the devil and the Queen of Swords. How nice, right? We talked about still finding that balance in that Sun, Jupiter squaring Neptune and Saturn aspect. Really having us drawn into our own personal depths as Mars quincunxes Pluto. Now, here's the thing. Again, what are you doing when it comes to your sovereignty? Do you know? What are you creating when it comes to your foundations and your rules? Do you know? Are you in active healing? Do you know, right? If you are not confronting them, right? The devil is here to say you cannot have attachments to anything that comes from the past. You must come into it in your now, right? You can't drag those unhealed, unexplored places forth. The Queen of Swords simply won't allow that, right? She uses that sort of truth, um, well, let's say no nonsensically, but also ruthlessly, right? So this is a red pen edit of the stories that you're telling that will not allow you to bring nonsense into your current story, right? You have infinity on your side, and you can transform your entire experience with the way that you choose your story. So edit mercilessly, right? Edit mercilessly. Do not be at the mercy of your story. No, no, no. On Tuesday, we have the Three of Swords and the Page of Swords. Now, I want you to pay attention because we're kind of loading this whole week here with this little pairing. Um, so, the Three of Swords and the Page of Swords, right? We talked about this as static in the depths, right? And really balancing the old and new patterns and staying true to your new story. Those old wounds or patterns are only part of your history. So if you're dragging, again, if you're dragging something old into your now, right, you have the opportunity to heal that story, to not bring it forward. That is your choice, right? This, again, the only thing that is in your present that is part of your 3D past is what you bring in. So if you're bringing in pain, loss, heartache, suffering, sadness, and you're witnessing that, ask yourself, how is this part of my new story? Is it welcome in my new story? Have I healed this? And if I have, how am I going to choose to leave that in the past as part of my new opportunity, right? On Wednesday, this is the day of the new moon. We have the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess. This is absolutely lovely energy for a 4-degree Cancer new moon, right? Especially one that's conjunct Jupiter. um, Interestingly enough, right, we have this squaring Saturn and Neptune, right? So this High Priestess always keeping something hidden, always minding the veils, right? And this Queen of Cups really just demanding embodiment. So, again, we're talking about if you have all of the information that you believe you want to move forward, right? Can I move forward with my open heart? And if not, you get to wait, right? And if not, just utilize that, whatever is necessary for my highest and best, and the highest and best of all as your intention for this new moon, because there's a lot going on. And here's the deal with this Jupiter involvement: if you're clear on the intentions that you're setting, what you're doing is setting forth an amplification that cannot lose. But if you are putting forth an intention that is not clear, right? That might not be accurate, then you're going to amplify that too. So it's better to wait if you need to, right? If you don't feel like you can come at it fully open, just use the generic, right? Use the generic. It's okay. On Thursday, Judgment and the Nine of Wands. Listen, we talked about this as the day of shocking disclosures, unexpected enlightenments. Always making sure home is your guiding point, right? You know what to defend, and you know what it means to carry things forth, right? You know how to parse your words, you know how to curate what it is that you are choosing to defend, choosing to stand in front of or behind, as the case may be. Judgment asks you, what is it that you truly want to carry forth? So make sure that you're not giving up too much. Make sure that you are not adding energy to an old, outdated story. That's not something that you want to move forward with, right? You will know that inherently. So just pay attention, please. You will not be sorry. All right, Page of Wands, very different energy, and the Three of Swords here today. So remember, we're looping this in. This is that day of inspiration, of invocation, the day where your heart catches up to your tongue, right? Page of Wands, beautiful energy. Um, this is effortless communication and being very deliberate in all the ways that felt obstructed, right? You're going to have that clarity today. Page of Wands is very different. What do I desire as opposed to what do I think, right? So, what do I desire? All of those specifics that you put out there, you get 100% because you have this capacity innately to move past these hurts and to devote and dedicate yourself to any kind of cycle that didn't work out in the past. So just be clear as possible. Um, we already know what it means to not be clear. This is the day to absolutely be clear and not drag anything forward. On Saturday, the Six of Swords and the King of Swords. I love all these swords this week because this indeed is a brainy confusion sort of where's the line between confusion and clarity week. Um, on Saturday, we talked about a beautiful opportunity for passionate expression or um, a big bunch of bloviated, impassioned nonsense, right? So, how are we moving away from what is the nonsensical? How are we moving away from the things that are programmed to look and feel like the truth but are not? Well, you know what? You have the innate capacity to do that. Absolutely, um, especially on Sunday. But on Saturday, make sure that you're taking everything with a grain of salt, right? If you don't have, um, let's just put it this way: if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So allow that to be a place where you would allow yourself to steer away from that because just like the queen, the king comes in with an even bigger sword, right? He comes in with more of that parsing and editing capacity. So we're not moving on anything that sounds too good to be true. On Sunday, we have the Hanged Man and the Empress. This is fascinating, right? We talked about this as that day where Mercury opposes Pluto. The Hanged Man is again shifting in perspective, looking at things from every angle, right? From every angle, and absolutely not buying into anything that doesn't hit home with your divine sense of your highest and best, right? Whether you're speaking or listening, right? Whether it comes to knowing what is your own best truth and what's not, understanding that what feels or smells like manipulation is probably manipulation, but what feels or smells like the truth or something beautiful could also be. So, looking at it from every angle. And then, as the moon comes into Virgo, you will absolutely innately be able to see through that, right? Your BS meter will be activated and you will not be at risk because you will withhold your judgment. You will suspend your decision making, and you'll know that sometimes what looks like a snake and walks like a snake and talks like a snake is a snake, but sometimes what walks and looks and talks like um, a cute little kitty cat is also a snake in disguise, right? So be sure that you are really in tune with your own intuition because there's a lot of hype this week. Always for you, right? This is true. This is true on all the levels. The energy behind us is really just asking you to understand that all of the things in your life are asking you to go deeper, right? To be deeply embroiled in your story, to understand your rules, to really accept the fact that your firsthand experience is the only thing and is always for you, right? For you. Fascinating. We have here 13, the lovers, right? Unite, desire, cherish, and caress. If I can find the book, we'll read about it. There we go. All right. Okay. The chemistry of love cannot be explained, only felt with the heart. Love wraps its arms around you. Love is pure and unconditional acceptance, right? You are being called to fully embrace love. Wholehearted love requires vulnerability and complete surrender. If you're in a relationship, this may mean a reawakening of your passion or that a further commitment is unfolding for both of you. Um, any full moon amplifies your love and ecstatic rapture even more. A sacred union is infused with profound spiritual connection. True love evolves with deep commitment and care. This message may also signify that you cannot force a loving connection. It's not about you. If the stars are not aligning with a current love interest, do not take it personally. Embodying loving qualities you want in your relationships. Self devotion is a magnet for boundless passion, love, and a spiritual union. Clarify how you want to feel in your relationships and only stay where you are valued, heard, seen, and respected. If you're in a toxic relationship, this card serves as a reminder that you deserve a love that is pure and true and unconditional. Love yourself and know when it's Love yourself enough to know when it's time to let go of a connection that brings you more sorrow than joy. Invite in balanced, conscious connections that are fully available to you. Get a crystal clear view about the non negotiable values you want to share. True love awaits you. The blue lotus in this mesmerizing art is often referred to as a dream flower. In the ancient Mediterranean, the hallucinogenic essence of its leaves was known to be mind expanding and intoxicating, and its intoxicating fragrance as an aphrodisiac. It was believed to tempt a state of intense longing for union with another. The spirit of the blue lotus heartens you to dream your beloved into existence. It all starts with self love. If you can see love, feel love, know love, and be love, then you can fully embrace love. Now, because this week is absolutely all about confusion and clarity in the presence of authenticity, right? This is about not believing anything that you don't experience firsthand. This is a beautiful reminder of where you're going to lean in and where you're going to lean out. Because the bottom line is that there is many stories to the truths that we tell one another, and there's many stories to the attached parts of the stories that we have ourselves. Are your stories rooted in an old pain? And how can you cut those out and choose what it is you're going to buy into, right? This is a week to avoid all the up leveled drama, the hype, the sleight of hand, right? Um, the manipulative tactics in communication. You must be true to yourself. That's the key. And then the discernment of everything else follows along. So remember, this is your story, right? You don't have to buy into anything as long as you feel that it's your highest and best. And even then, triple check, right? All right. Blessed new moon, guys. Take care and be blessed.